The butterfly lion. So Bertie and his girlfriend, who's the lady telling the story, have found the butterfly lion, and he's living with them. Let's see how we are. We never had children of our own, just the White Prince, and I can tell you he was enough of a family for anyone. He roamed free in the park, just as we had planned he would, and he chased the deer and the rabbits whenever he felt like it. But he never did learn how to kill for himself. You can't teach old lions new tricks. He slept well. He slept on a sofa on the landing. I wouldn't have him inside our bedroom, no matter how often Bertie asked. You have to draw the line somewhere. Bertie's leg never recovered properly. When it was bad, he often needed a stick, or me, or the lion to lean on. It pained him a lot, particularly when the weather was cold and damp, and he never slept well. On Sundays, the three of us would wander the park together, as he would sit on the top of the hill with his arm around his old friend's neck, and I would fly kites. As you know, I've always loved kites, and so it turned out that the lion, who pounced on several of them as they landed, savaged them and ripped them to pieces. The lion never showed any interest in escaping, and even if he wanted to, the park wall was too high for an old lion to jump. Wherever Bertie went, he wanted to go too, and if Bertie ever went out in the car, then he'd sit by me near the stove in the kitchen and watch me with those great amber eyes, listening all the while for the sound of Bertie's car coming up the gravel to the front of the house. The old lion lived on to a ripe old age, but he became stiff in his legs and could see very little towards the end. He spent his last days stretched out asleep at Bertie's feet, right where you're sitting now. When he died, we buried him at the bottom of the hill out there. Bertie wanted it that way, so he could always see the spot from the kitchen window. I suggested we plant a tree, in case we forgot where he was. I'll never forget, he said fiercely, never. And besides, he deserves a lot more than a tree. Bertie grieved on for weeks, months after the lion died. There was nothing I could do to cheer him or even console him. He would sit for hours in his room or go off on long walks all on his own. He seemed so shut away inside himself, so distant. Try as I did, I could not reach him. Then one day I was in the kitchen here when I saw him hurrying down the hill, waving his stick and shouting for me. "I've got it!" he cried as he came in. "I've got it at last!" He showed me the end of his stick. It was white. "See that, Millie? Chalk. It's chalk underneath, isn't it?" "So?" I said. "You know the famous white horse on the hillside of Uffington, the one they carved out of chalk 1,000 years ago? That horse never died, did it? It's still alive, isn't it? Well, that's what we're going to do, so he'll never be forgotten. We'll carve the White Prince out on the hillside. He'll be there forever, and he'll be white forever too." "It'll take a bit of time, won't it?" I said. "Well, we've got plenty, haven't we?" he replied, with the same smile he smiled at me when he was a 10-year-old boy, asking me if he could come back and mend my kite. It took the next 20 years to do it. Every spare hour we had, we were up there scraping away with spades and trowels. We had buckets and wheelbarrows to carry away the turf and the earth. It was hard, back-breaking work, but it was a labour of love. We did it, Bertie and I. We did it together. Paws, claws, tail, mane, until he was whole and perfect in every detail. It was just after we'd finished that the butterflies first came. We noticed that when the sun comes out after the rain in the summer, the butterflies, Adonis blues they were, I looked them up, came to drink on the chalk face. Then the White Prince became a butterfly lion and breathes again just like a living creature. So now you know how Bertie's white lion became the White Prince and how the White Prince became our butterfly lion. Okay. It's the end of that chapter, but I think we've got 2 more chapters. Okay.